Hey, how's it going, guys? I know it's been a while, but I got a few good ones coming at you here, so let's get right into it. So, Hunger Games. Let me get this out of the way. I've never read the books. I saw the movie, and people they say, well, it has to be like the book. Well, you know what? I'm judging this like a movie because that's what it is. I saw the movie, so the movie I shall rate. So anyway, story of the Hunger Games is a long one, and it's missing a few pieces in this puzzle, if you get what I'm saying. So, thing is, after an unknown apocalypse happens in the United States, the North America is set up in 12 different districts, I think. I might be wrong on some of these details. The movie moves really fast because there's a lot for them to cover, and it's 2.5 hours long only. Because I'm sure if they wanted to keep everything in there, it would have been 3.5 or 4 hours. But anyway, so yeah, they're split up into 12 different districts, and there's poor district, there's a rich district filled with the wealthy, the capital. And that's filled with more hipsters than you can shake a stick at. And the capital every year gives a chance to 24 kids between the ages of 18 and 12 who are randomly picked to participate in the Hunger Games, which is a battle to the death if it was done by the creators of American Idol, basically. How was it? Well, for a movie that's 2.5 hours, I was never bored. But did I like it all? Let's find out. So, first off, performances from kids, they're usually bad. And when I say bad, they're like, okay, just give me the gun. Just put it in my mouth. I want to pull the trigger. Like, they're awful. The performances are usually terrible from kids. But a lot of the actors in this movie delivered a really great performance, and I thought that none of them really disappointed, and they were really impressive, in particular because they were all kids. And if this movie wouldn't have lived up to the hype and these kids would have sucked, this would have been a terrible movie, and it would have been almost unbearable. And the script, it's really hit or miss in this movie. There's a lot of really great material in it, but overall, I gotta say that I think that there's a lot of lines in there that were forced in, and they're right from the book, I think. And if you write a script, you don't really need to keep all that in there, but they have to appease the fans, and there's moments where they say things that's just like, that was so stupid, and just it felt like outdated. It's like, why did you say that? That sounds terrible. It's one thing if you're reading it on a piece of paper, in your head, and you're like taking everything in from someone's point of view in a book. But when actors are talking to each other and they say something that feels really formulaic like that, you're like, what just happened? Why did they say that? Anyway, but keeping that in mind, there's one point, and although it makes sense in the movie, the movie started to get too Twilighty. And by too Twilighty, I mean, why it's right before the third act, before it's really about to come to a close, and like it's about to have like that last set piece, and like it's building up towards us, and it's, why do the characters in love have to act stupid and like or just stare at each other and just say stupid things to each other? I don't get it. It makes sense why it happened. It could have been done a lot better. It's only for 5 minutes in the movie, but it was seriously like almost unbearable. Like, I was sitting there and they're just like, oh, I love you. And it's like, it goes like this, like, they're in love, they're talking, bam, in love. Like, it just happens. And it makes sense, but you can't help that it feels forced, and that, I don't know, it's really, there's 5 minutes in that movie that I was like, oh my god, I almost really want to leave. If the rest of this wasn't so good, I would have considered walking out, but I don't walk out during movies. If it would have stayed that way or started that way, I would have been gone. But apart from that part, the one thing that really worried me about this movie was the advertising for the soundtrack. They're like, hey, it has Arcade Fire. It has Taylor Swift. And so on and so forth. But I can safely say that there is none of that garbage in the movie. It is scored excellently. Music sets the tone for every scene very well. When it's intense, this movie gets intense. There are moments I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh, is that going to work? Is it going to work? Like, it pulled me in. I really, really was into it in this movie. I really liked it. I thought the music worked really well with every scene. And that's all thanks to some great cinematography in this movie. It really draws you in. And you know, a lot of people are saying that like the director really copped out with this, and that it, when it needed to be violent, it wasn't. And you know, I disagree. Like, you don't need to show like these 8-year or 12-year-old kids getting slaughtered. Like, I think that the fact that they showed blood in the movie, and the way that it was shot, that they showed like, hey, here it comes, here's his head, oh, there's a sword cut, you know, and then they'll show like blood splatter, and you know, that's a pretty big thing. This movie's rated PG-13, and there was a decent amount of blood in it. You know, there's more blood in this movie than there was in The Dark Knight, because that movie had none. So in a way, I think it made up for the lack of violence per se, and it had like, the way they showed the reaction shots was interesting to me, and I liked it. And you know, for a world that is so ridiculous as this one, the designers found that sweet spot in between really cool and original and incredibly stupid. They found that sweet spot, and you know, they really made me believe that there's blue-haired people out there who love watching, you know, 12-year-old kids get killed. And you know, that they're capable, these characters, of, you know, lying and like being deceptive and like being like honest, true people, like that you really believe could exist in our world. And you know, it draws you in and it keeps you interested. The one thing I gotta say though is the end. Like, I liked the end of the games per se, but the end of the movie itself I thought was really lacking. Like, if you've read the book, I heard some people gasp at the end, but the end scene is literally this. Just imagine us standing up. And, you know, it's just a guy walking away thinking, like, what is that supposed to mean? I'm not going to say who or what it was, but if you've read the book, I guess you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, that's not a spoiler. You have no idea what I'm talking about, completely out of context. Anyway, I thought that this movie was really great. And, you know, it was really enjoyable. But there were moments that, like I said, where it got too Twilighty, and it was a little long for some. But this is really, really worth your time, I think. So it's above average. Go check it out. You'll have a great time. You'll enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. Kept my interest through the whole thing. This would be like a 3.9 out of 5. Like, it's close to being like a really full price. But go see this at a matinee or something. It's really worth your time. You'll enjoy this. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Hit that button right there. You know you want to. It's a sexy button. And please write in the comments how much I suck. Thanks for watching, guys, and catch you on the flip side.